Okay, good morning. We said we were going to do a live to discuss Bong Revilla's case and the Balangiga bells. Okay, first, siguro unahin natin yung kaso ni Bong Revilla. So, the most common questions pertain to how is it na bakit na-acquit dito si Senator Bong Revilla. Please let me know if the sound is okay because medyo maingay itong venue na to. Senator Bong Rvilla has been accused of plunder for amassing supposedly the amount of over 200 million pesos. Later on, what was proven was about 100 supposedly 124.5 million that he allegedly amassed through the PDAF scandals or through the PDAF method that was the subject of a privileged speech made by both made by sino ba to? Senator Jinggoy, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So what happened here? The prosecution proved that Janet Napoles would create non-government organizations or organizations. They would work out a budget that a senator, a lawmaker would submit and approve funding. Okay, when this would be approved, the senator would ask for a release of the funds. The release would be to an organization identified by the lawmaker. Once that organization is identified, then that organization would be the subject, would be the recipient of the public funding, supposedly to execute a particular project already identified by Congress for a particular public purpose. Okay? So, ganito, ulitin natin ha, may project, gagawa ng project, gagawa ng NGO, i-identify ng legislator yung NGO na yon as the recipient of the public funds. Tapos, pag natanggap ng organization, usually hindi na ginagawa yung project or minimal lang yung ginagawa na project, tapos pinaghahatian na yung pondo nun. Okay. So, dito, sa kaso ni Senator Revilla, ganun na nga yung nangyari. It was proven by the prosecution that Janet Lim Napoles did create an NGO and did ask for, and working through her niece, Louie, who would facilitate the release of the funds, the release of the public funds to the NGO. Tapos, pagka na-release na, pinagpapartihan na sila. Okay. Dito, sa kaso ni Senator Bong Rvilla, ang sinasabing napatunayan ay na meron talagang NGO na kasangkot si Janet Lim Napoles at si Attorney Cambe na miyembro ng staff ni Senator Bong Rvilla. Pero hindi daw napatunayan ang liability ni Senator Revilla. Ang mga napatunayan dito ay primarily yung ang nagpa-acquit dito, nagbigay ng reasonable doubt kay Senator Revilla ay tatlo. Number one, nagsabi si Senator Revilla na yung mga signatures requesting for the release of funds o yung SARO, Special Allotment Release Order, yung signatures daw niya doon ay forgeries. At inexplain ng defense na sina Louie would normally forge the signature of a lawmaker dun sa request ng release ng SARO. So, since regular na gawain ni Louie yung pag-forge ng signature ng isang legislador para magpa-release sa SARO, in-apply ni Senator Revilla sa defense niya ito. So, number one, yung request for the release of SARO at hindi na kinonsider na si Senator Revilla yung humingi nun. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya hindi siya part ng conspiracy magpa-release ng pondo dun sa NGO. O, ano pa? merong mga deposits na napatunayan na nagko-correspond dun sa amounts na binigay ni Louie kay Senator Revilla. So, may mga bank accounts si Senator Revilla, tapos may mga deposito na nagawa doon. Ang problema, ang mga bank accounts na ito ay kay Senator Revilla, members ng family niya, at isang NGO or foundation ang nakapangalan dito sa mga accounts na yon. Although nagko-corresponding amounts na binigay ni Ben Harloy kay Senator Revilla dun sa mga amounts na nadeposito dito sa bangko, hindi napatunayan ng prosecution na si Senator Revilla mismo alone ang nagdideposito sa mga accounts na yon. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin, hindi na napatunayan na si Senator Revilla ang nagpa-release ng pondo. And although may mga supposedly ni-receive si Richard Cambe para kay Senator Revilla, yung deposits dun sa accounts na identified for Senator Revilla, hindi napatunayan na si Senator Revilla lang ang nagdideposito doon. Ang sinasabi ng hukuman, while it's true, pwedeng si Senator Revilla ang nag-deposit ng mga identical amounts na yon that correspond to the amounts that were given by Ben Harloy, hindi napatunayan ng prosecution na si Senator Revilla lang alone ang nagdideposito dun sa mga accounts na yon. So, dapat daw ginawa ng prosecution ay in-exclude nila yung possibility na si Lani Mercado or ibang tao ang nagdideposito din dun sa mga accounts na yon. So, yung mga accounts na yon kasi hindi lahat nakapangalan kay Senator Revilla. Merong isa na nasa pangalan ng isang foundation, yung iba daw ay nasa pangalan ng ibang family members. So, maaari din na yung family members ang nag-cause ng mga deposits na yon. So, in addition to that, hindi daw sufficient, sabi ng hukuman, yung pagpapatunay dito sa association ni Senator Revilla dito kay Janet Lim Napoles at kay Richard Cambe. Hindi daw enough yun para mapatunayan na kasangkot siya dito sa scam na pagpartihan yung pondo na galing sa gobyerno. Okay? I hope nakuha nyo yan. Ulitin natin in a little while, ha? So, ang sinasabi ng court, yes, ang liit kasi ng nasa internet, Ayan. So, ang sinasabi ng court, ito, I need the notes kasi medyo mahaba-haba yung decision. Ngayon yung decision dito is originally, ang isang Sandigan Bayan Division, in this case is the first division, normally yan, they prefer a unanimous decision. Pero dahil hindi unanimous yung decision, kaya 5 injustices na tinanggap. Pagka hindi po unanimous ang decision ng isang division, magdadagdag ng 2 members to that division, and in this case, there are 2 additional members, para tulungan sila gawa ng decision. And in this case, it was still a split decision with 3 voting for the acquittal of Senator Revilla and 2 who were dissenting in his acquittal. So, ang sinasabi din ng court, nahanap ko lang yung mga napatunayan at hindi napatunayan, no? Napatunayan, beyond reasonable doubt, yung participation ni Janet Lim Napoles at ni Richard Cambe. Pero yung forgery dun sa signatures ni Senator Revilla show that he is not part of the conspiracy. So, automatically, hindi na siya nabawasan ng isang elemento yung plunder. Furthermore, kasi ang plunder, you have to prove na this person amassed wealth that was coming from public funds and was in excess of 50 million. So, in excess of 50 million na patunayan yun. Pero hindi po napatunayan na si Senator Revilla mismo ang tumanggap ng mga pera na ito. Sinasabi ng hukuman na while it is true na natanggap ni Richard Cambe and supposedly he was receiving it on behalf of Senator Revilla, hindi daw napatunayan ng prosecution na si Senator Revilla mismo ang tumanggap ng pera. Okay. Now, bakit sinasabi ng hukuman na magsusole? Hindi actually malinaw na sinasabi ng hukuman na si Senator Revilla ang magsusole. Dahil ang nakalagay dito ay the accused have to return the money all the money that was received for the foundation and return it to the treasury. So, baka kailanganin ng hukuman na i-clarify ito. Okay? Balikan natin yung mga napatunayan kasi medyo mahalaga yan. Ang haba ng decision na to. Ang sinasabi naman dun sa dissenting opinion, in particular dun sa dissenting opinion ni Justice Estoesta, what she was saying na sufficient na mapatunayan na kasama si Senator Revilla dun sa conspiracy because necessarily itatago, 'di ba, ang participation ni Senator Revilla at masyadong napagdiinan yung allegation of forgery. Okay. Ang haba ng decision. Nahaba kasi ng mga testimonies cannot find them. Okay, let me just check your questions. Ang isang reason why it is possible remember na ang acquittal ni Senator Revilla dito is because the prosecution failed to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. But they were able to prove as to a certain extent, but not beyond reasonable doubt. Okay? So, there is a difference between an acquittal because you're innocent and an acquittal because the prosecution failed to come out to fulfill its obligation to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Okay? So, ulitin natin what the Sandigan Bayan is saying is that it was not proven by the prosecution that Senator Revilla actually received the amounts because in the bank accounts, it wasn't only Senator Revilla who was making the deposits. Second, it wasn't proven that the receipt by Richard Cambe equals the receipt by Senator Revilla of the amounts that were turned over by Ben Harloy. Third, Senator Revilla alleged that his signatures on the request for the releases of the SARO were forgeries. So, ibig sabihin, he claims that it wasn't him who asked for the release. And hindi napatunayan ng prosecution that hindi sila nag-provide ng rebuttal witness dun sa handwriting expert na iprinisinta ni Senator Revilla. Ngayon, bakit magsusoli ng pera? Like I said, hindi maliwanag kung si Senator Revilla mismo ang magsusoli ng pera, pero maliwanag kasi na na-establish na itong entire scam na ito, yung pagre-release ng pera to an NGO for a non-existent project that amounted to about 119 to 124.5 million pesos ay maliwanag na hindi siya nagastos in accordance with the requirement, diba? Hindi ito nagastos for a public purpose, therefore talagang kailangan isole. Okay? Questions? I-check ko yung questions niya dun sa Luminous. So, we've answered that question kung bakit kailangan isole. Definitely, there was public funds that were released. So, ang sinasabi ng court, all the persons who received those public funds have the obligation to return it to the treasury kasi hindi po siya nagastos in accordance with the requirements. Okay. Nasan yung ibang mga questions ninyo? Nawawala ko na. Okay. Bakit kailangan unanimous ang decision attorney who appointed the two additional? I don't know. Most of the Sandigan Bayan justices, many of the Sandigan Bayan justices were appointed by Noynoy Aquino. But ako, I don't want to go there. Hindi ko i-attack yung mga justices ng Sandigan Bayan and say na bayad sila o tumalino sila or anything like that because there is no evidence. There is no evidence that the justices were making a decision na hindi base sa ebidensya. Ang sinasabi lang nila kasi, ang sinasabi nila is the prosecution failed to close in the holes in their case theory. Kasi sinasabi nila, di ba, kailangan ma-prove yung mga elements. And one of the elements, of course, is the receipt by the accused of the money. Kailangan mag-amass ka ng wealth. Now, how can they prove that Senator Revilla amassed that wealth if they cannot prove that he actually received it? Bakit kailangan unanimous? Kasi, you have to convince all of the justices. Ngayon, it's not always possible for it to be unanimous. So you add more justices so that there are more brains, more people who are examining the evidence. Kung split pa rin yung decision, it's never going to happen naman na split down the middle kasi parating odd number and all the justices have to vote. So, hindi problema. I don't think it's really going to be a problem as to whether or not this was a unanimous decision. It's also possible pagka hindi unanimous dun sa 3-man member ng isang division, magdadagdag lang ng 2, and that is a standard procedure. Hindi ko mabuksan yung ibang mga Sabi ni Neb Aike, di po ba maaaring mag-intervene ng Soljan sa kaso ng DAP-PDAF ni Ms. Napoles para malaman pa kung sino-sino pa ang totoong nakinabang na maaaring ngayon ay nakakalaya pa at maiingay pa laban sa Pangulo? Ito yung problema. Ang prosecuting and usually investigating sa mga kaso na ganito in cases of plunder is the Ombudsman. So it has to be Ombudsman Martires who can investigate as to other cases that have not been filed. So, if there are other senators and other congressmen na hindi pa nakakasuhan, it is still possible. Hindi pa naman nagpe-prescribe yung action, so maaari pang mag-imbestiga si Ombudsman Martires. Okay na ba tayo doon? So, can we move on to the next topic? Tinitignan ko yung mga Sabi ni Abdul Jamal, how about checks issued and deposited under Revilla's bank accounts? Established fact yun. Kung kay Revilla mismo, the problem is it wasn't his own account. It was nga, according to the court, from what I understand, the court was saying is that it wasn't just his own account. Yung iba, joint account nila ni Lani. Yung iba sa mga anak, and one of them was a foundation. I didn't see a mention of a singular account, an account that was solely in Revilla's name. Ngayon, checks issued and deposited under Revilla's account. It depends on who issued the check. Kunwari, si Janet Lim Lampoles ang nag-issue ng check, kailangan pa rin, may burden pa rin, sinasabi ng court, ang prosecution na patunayan na these checks were coming from the public funds. So, kahit established fact, yung mga check na yon, may mga burden of proof pa rin ang prosecution. Kailangan patunayan nila na nanggaling dun sa amount na yon, dun sa amount na ni-release. Hindi nga maliwanag kung si Senator Revilla ang nagpa-release dun sa SARO. Tignan ko yung, nahanap ko yung questions. Ayan. Ito na yung mga questions that he posted on the wall. Tinatanong, ano ba to? If Senator Bong Rvilla was LP member, you think he will be charged and accused of plunder, lalo na siya pa ang president ng Lakas at the time, may be expected to run for president in 2016. What you're asking me is to make an evaluation of the politics of the situation and to see if the politics affected the decision of the court. On the basis of that, I can't say that the decision of the court was reached through political pressures. Hindi po maliwanag if that has even happened. Ngayon, kung ang tinatanong mo is dun sa investigations mismo, then I don't think that that is that it's clear right now. Medyo speculative kasi yun Ayan. Sabi ni ano ba yan? Ni Grace Bermudez, pero ang tinatanong niya tungkol kay Trillanes. So tapusin muna natin itong tungkol kay Senator Revilla. Sabi ni Ching Biguanson, bakit kailangan magbayad if acquitted siya? At mahina ba ang ebidensya labang kay Bong Rvilla? I think we've discussed that. Kindly explain and stress the points of the... Well, you can be guilty because it's been proven that, well, there's such a thing as completely innocent. Like, there was no basis for filing the case to begin with. Then there's acquitted because the prosecution failed to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. They were able to prove something but not enough. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na quantum of evidence. And in criminal cases, the quantum of evidence is guilt beyond reasonable doubt. If it is a civil case, it's merely a preponderance of evidence. Who has more evidence than the other side? And then in administrative cases, it's simply reasonable evidence. Mataas po yung quantum of evidence in a criminal case because you are forfeiting your life and your liberty. So kailangan mataas yung required evidence, yung evidentiary requirement. So, basically, yun pala yung mga questions lang ninyo kung bakit merong pasoli ng pera kung acquitted siya. In other cases also, it's possible to prove that to say that the prosecution has failed to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt, but that could be civil liabilities. So, posible din po yan. But in this case, the court wasn't even clear. It said that all the accused have to return the money because clearly the money which was allotted for public interest for a certain public project was not spent for that purpose. So, kailangan talagang isole. That is really going to be their obligation. Sabi ni Neb, ano po ang say ng AMLAC sa kaso na to since plunder po ang involved? The AMLAC actually testified because they provided the evidence of the deposits of Senator Revilla. Yun nga lang, the court was saying that it wasn't clear that it was Senator Revilla himself who was causing the deposits or if only Senator Revilla was depositing the amount. In other words, the prosecution should have shown what we call in chain of evidence. So, release of the money from the treasury through the SARO, receipt by the NGO, delivery by Ben Hurluy to the representative, and then from the representative, delivery to Senator Revilla. Now, that delivery could be made straight to Senator Revilla and then a receipt or testimonial evidence indicating that he had received it, or receipt through a bank account. Hindi nga maliwanag that it was only Senator Revilla. So from Richard Cambe, who's supposedly making the deposits, the question is whether only Richard Cambe was making those deposits and if the deposits he was making came from the release from the SARO. So yun daw yung break in the chain of evidence. Ito yung sinasabi ng court. Whether or not I agree with that, I'm not sure. Parang para sa akin masyado yatang mataas yung ni-require ng court. Okay. Maybe we can look at the other questions. Yung humawak ba daw kay Jinggoy at kay Enrile, hindi po, iba-iba pong courts yan. Sabi ni Don Bantag, the problem is Ombudsman doesn't want to file an MR. He's passing it to Solgen to elevate to the SC. Pwede din naman po yun. You can, kasi definitely the motion for reconsideration will be filed by the prosecution and the prosecution is the Ombudsman. Ngayon, if the Ombudsman believes that a filing of a motion for reconsideration will only cause delay and not change the mind of the court, then it is possible to go straight to the Supreme Court on an issue of grave abuse of discretion. Sabi ni Angelito Monterola, both DAP and PDAF were considered illegal by the court even before pa. Dapat hindi lang ang mga tumanggap ang inasunto, yung nagbigay at promotor ng mga ito ay lalong dapat nakasuhan. Agree din naman ako doon. Alam nyo, if you don't have a name that I can read, I'm going to have a hard time reading your questions. Sabi ni Josephine, if the case was malversation, malakas kaya ang chance na makonvict? Malversation of public funds, baka graft. Which reminds me, kasi very specific pagka in excess of 50 million, the more specific law will apply. So, pagka in excess of 50 million, tapos meron na yung mga elements, talagang i-require na plunder yung kaso. Ngayon, Senator Revilla has other graft cases. That's important. Kasi di ba ni-release siya on the plunder case. Pero he had to go back to court to file bail on the graft cases that were filed against him. So, dun sa graft, tingin ko, it's going to be far more difficult to get him acquitted. So, tignan natin. He is still facing other cases of graft. Ngayon, baka may magtanong naman sa inyo, dapat kapag may kaso, hindi na pwedeng tumakbo. That is not fair. Okay? Kasi you're looking only at a particular person that you probably don't like. Now, here's the problem. Kapag may kaso, tapos hindi nyo napapayagan tumakbo. What if, halimbawa, in 2016, may nag-file ng kaso kay Duterte. At yung kaso na yun, walang ka-basis, walang evidence, pero it was still going through, let's say, preliminary investigation, or because he was not able to show up at preliminary investigation na file sa court. Are you going to say that dapat ina-exclude natin? Because the problem with yung may kaso pa lang, gusto nyo nang i-exclude from running, is that any person can file a frivolous case against the candidate to keep him from running. So, huwag kayong hihingi ng ganun because there is almost always a downside to that. Okay, ang daming mga nagtatanong kung yung prosecutors, kung yung mga justices are Pinoy appointees. I think these are entirely irrelevant. Magiging relevant lang yan kung wala talagang basihan yung sinasabi ng hukuman. Pero meron. Basically, what they're saying is that kulang yung binibigay ng prosecution. Ngayon, you can also make a case out of the fact that the primary prosecution of this case occurred under the Aquino administration and under the supervision of Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales. Doon kayo you can make a case out of that, or you can make an argument out of that. But I don't like to say that any of the prosecutors or the justices are involved in anything illegal, in particular in relation to throwing a case against Senator Rvilla. There is no evidence of that. We can say, however, that this decision is problematic. O bakit problematic? Kasi ang taas ng nire-require nila para patunayan na natanggap. Kasi kung ganun kataas yung requirement mo para mapatunayan na natanggap, walang ever magiging guilty of plunder. Diba? Kasi, of course, our public officials are going to try to make it look like hindi sila yung tumanggap. So, ito, mga bank accounts ng pamilya, kailangan lang patunayan kasi Richard Campbell is already a member of the staff of Senator Revilla and he was not removed as a staff member. And he was the one making the direct deposits to these accounts. I think that in order to fulfill the intent of the law, dapat kinonsider ng court na ni-receive ni Senator Revilla ito. Gayunpaman, I will not ever say that the justices did something illegal or made a decision that is outside of the law. Nasa discretion po nila yan. Sabi ni Beatrice Cruz-Angeles, Attorney, iyon po bang nag-approve ng PDAF budget ay makakasuhan din kasi di po unconstitutional ang budget. Hindi po. Unconstitutional yung method of transferring the funds. Ang sabi kasi ng Supreme Court, itong ibang mga DAP at saka PDAF were based on savings. Nagdi-declare yung savings at sabi ng Supreme Court, you cannot declare savings and then spend it for something totally different. So, ang sinabi din is that kulang sa safeguards yung mga ganitong PDAF, yung use ng PDAF. Sabi ni Yuying ZK, ang hirap kasi ibang mga tao madaling manghusga kahit walang sapat na ebidensya, kaya nga may husgado para mapatunayan kung may sala o wala yung tao. So, may ibang nagsasabing whatever. Yan. Sabi ni Victor Dolor, nakaspecify po ba ang magsusoli ng pera? Sinabi ko na nga, hindi nga nakaspecify, nakalagay accused. Sabi ni M, Bakit 3 lang convicted? Sila ba ang pinakamalaking natanggap? On what grounds sila nadiin? Nasabi ko na yon yung grounds. Bakit 3 lang ang convicted? Kasi 3 lang ang napatunayan. But if you're asking kung bakit 3 lang ang na-charge, well, that is the discretion of the ombudsman. And in that case, it was Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales who was determining probable cause para dun sa mga ibang mga congressman at senators na na-charge dito. Sabi ni Melinda Castro Agustin, will Pinoy be responsible for Chief Justice Corona if proven about the PDAF of Pinoy grease money to oust Corona? Well, that will also depend on the evidence. But yeah, of course. Sabi ni Victor, kaya nga po yan ang point ko, kung accused lang ang nakalagay, sino na't paano may babalik. Nakalagay naman sa title ng kaso kung sino ang accused. Bakit ba? It's in the title of the case. And all of them are accused. Why? Bakit kayo galit? The court sometimes resorts to shortcuts. Pero in order to determine with exactitude for practical purposes, pwedeng mag-file ng motion for clarification ang mga partido dito. So, hindi ibig sabihin na wala ng recourse. Magfa-file lang ang prosecution ng motion for clarification. Huwag kayong magalit. May remedyo. Kayo naman, iniisip nyo naman kasi na yung mga Sandigan Bayan Justices ay medyo tatanga-tanga na magpapahuli sila ng ganyan. Please give them some credit. The Sandigan Bayan Justices, don't call them judges, they're justices. They know what they're doing. Now, we may not agree with their decision, but I think it is unfair to cast aspersions on them, to insult them, and to say na mali or all of that based simply on a decision that you don't agree with. I don't agree with the decision, but that doesn't mean I'm going to accuse them of any wrongdoing. Wala akong ibang ebidensya. Sabi ni Batang Lansangan, bakit dyan sa Pinas ang tagal ng kaso bago maresolba? Bakit dito sa Australia sandali lang kapag inakusahan ka ng ikaw ay corrupt, pinagpo-force ka mag-resign, hindi masyadong... Look, a resignation is still determined, is still voluntary on the part of the person resigning. So dyan, siguro, iba lang yung levels ng hiya. But that doesn't have anything to do with the process of the court. The resignation depends on the person resigning, depends on the public official whether he is going to resign or not. Now, you can pressure him, but the decision will still ultimately be the public officials. At saka ito, I keep repeating this in all of my lives. Pag sinasabi nyo, bakit ang tagal? Ano ang basis nyo para sabihing matagal? Diba? Compared to what? Compared to other jurisdictions? We don't have the same laws. Why will you compare? And do you know that the right to a speedy trial belongs to the accused? It's not for us, who is the audience. It's not for the prosecution to say. The only person who can claim a right to a speedy trial is the accused. So bakit kayo yung galit? Bakit kayo yung naiinip? Yung akusado, ang mas may karapatan magsabi na dapat bilisan nyo because I should not be held under suspicion for so long. Okay? So when you say ang tagal, I don't understand. Ang tagal compared to what? And ang tagal, bakit kayo yung galit? Yung akusado yung dapat nagrereklamo. And in fact, the accused can get a case dismissed if it takes too long. Okay? So, again, compared to what? Sabi ni Alex Buenaventura, bakit po kaya hindi kasama si Drilon sa nakasuhan sa kasong plunder? Mas malaki tipo ba ang DAP na natanggap niya? Well, it depends on what evidence is available. Look, ang dami sa ating galit, including me, kung bakit yung iba na alam naman natin na kurakot ay hindi pa rin nakakasuhan. But knowing and proving something are two different things. So, Kung maiinis kayo, I think that we should go back to basics. Go back to our investigators. Those are the NBI, and in this case, the Ombudsman. These are the people who investigate and determine the amount of evidence that is sufficient to file the case and sufficient to get a guilty verdict. So it isn't the courts. I don't think you can just blame the courts for this all the time. Sabi ni Princess Beatrice Ong, yes, totoo yun. Dito sa Korea, yung president nag-suicide kasi kurakot yun. Pero mabait siya sa mga team. Sabi ni Grace D, sobrang judgmental ang mga tao. Ano ba pinagkaiban compared sa mga dilawan who blames and judges a person without proper evidence? Sabi ni Vic Aces, maling-mali nga ang justice system natin. But what exactly are you saying is wrong? Yung karapatan natin, mali. Yung constitution natin, mali because it gives rights to the accused. Do you know why we give a lot of rights to the accused? It's because the entire state machinery goes against a single person. Or even if marami kayong akusado, yung entire na makinarya ng Estado, yung law enforcers, yung prosecutors, all of these go against you. Ano lang ang pwede mong shield against the possibility that you will be falsely accused and falsely convicted? Your rights are the only shield that you have. Ngayon, galit kayo kasi you're on the side of the prosecution. But try to imagine kung ikaw yung akusado, and that is why our laws are created that way. We can't get too angry now. Our president was a former prosecutor, and yung kanyang point of view ay hango dun sa pagiging prosecutor. As a prosecutor, he wants better laws or laws that make the entire process shorter, that make the burden of proof easier. But that is his point of view. There is another point of view, and that is on the part of the defense. What if you are falsely accused? That is far, far more dangerous. It is far a bigger sin to put an innocent man in jail than it is to acquit a guilty man. Or person. Sorry. Okay, hindi ako galit. But my point is this. When you convict an innocent man, whatever amount of jail time that you give him, or even the death penalty that you give him, this time and his life can never be taken back. Okay? Never. There is no way you're going to be able to compensate a person falsely accused and falsely convicted. That is why we have to give them their rights. That is why we observe due process. Now, there are people who abuse that. Hello, Maria Reza. Diba? Yung sobra akong pa-victim, sobra akong ganito na, oh my goodness, I'm a tax evader, but, I'm entitled to be called the victim here. Of course, there will always be somebody who will try to take advantage of any situation or try to abuse their rights. Now, the law has means to address an abuse of right, but it is a civil address. But still, it is available. Diba? You put an innocent man in jail. There's no remedy. There's no compensation for that. We make that kind of mistake. And who is going to give that person back his lost years? Okay? So, I can't say, I agree with you when you say that our justice system is wrong. It is not. There is no system that is perfect. Of course, it is run by people who are imperfect. And so the failings of people will be you'll also be considered imperfections in the system. Sabi ni Peralta, for you, is it true an acquittal is not appealable as it is double jeopardy? Yes. Sabi ni Vic Aces, and please, I don't want you to repeat this comment again. Dapat ang maging judge na lang mga riding in tandem. What if mali yung mga judge na yan? Can you bring back the people's lives that you've taken? Please don't say that. Because you're actually encouraging people to commit a crime. And that doesn't make us any different from the other side, di ba? How can you say na mali yung kabilang parlor kung tayo magko-commit din ng mali? Sabi ni Beansword, the reason nga kung bakit na-acquit ay kulang ang ebidensya. So, kasalanan nung nagkaso, bakit kulang? Actually, ang tingin ko, sufficient yung evidence, hindi lang talaga kinonect, hindi siya, hindi lang napagtagpi-tagpi ng tama. And I can't also blame the prosecutors. You know, sometimes we can tend to overlook these things. Sabi ni Tony Panilagaw, walang silbi ang batas sa Pinas, maraming butas. That's not true. Have you seen the laws in other countries? There are also lots of holes in it. Our Bill of Rights is exactly the same Bill of Rights as the US except for two rights that were not included. The right to bear arms and the right to a jury trial. So how can you say na yung batas sa ibang mga bansa is better? It might also be that yung batas natin ay hindi hango sa kultura natin because we adopted it so entirely na hindi natin kinonsider na iba tayo sa kanila. You're blaming our laws and saying that they're wrong? On the contrary, some of the Philippine laws are cutting edge. The laws on culture and arts, the laws on indigenous peoples. So many of our laws are far, far advanced. But we fail in its execution. Diba? Sabi ni Raytan, meron po bang ibang naka-receive ng DAP, PDAF na sinampahan or in process ang kasuhan? Oh, si Jingboy, si Enrile. Diba? So many of them. Merong mga nakakaso na ilang congressmen. I don't have the complete list, but it was already published recently. Oh, may sinasabi si De La Cruz, John Bailon, kailan din po pauuwiin yung Jo Marie Bell sa Netherlands at 1987 pa yun doon. Wala po bang treaty? Hindi ko po alam kasi yung Bell na yan. So I have to do the research. We'll do a live on that when I have done the research on that one. Please remind me, please send me a PM. O yun, sabi ni Emma Lucero, like what happened to Chief Justice Corona. Do you remember Chief Justice Corona? The entire Senate, the entire might of the state was arrayed against him at anong laban niya, nag-iisa siya. So all he had were rights. But because he was in an impeachment court where there are not so many defenses available to him and a decision can be made purely on political grounds, how could he survive that? Diba? We need to be able to protect our accused just as much as we need to be able to protect the innocent people who can be victims of these accused. But remember, the accused can be victims too. Kaya naiinis ako kay Maria Ressa because she's abusing the system. Sabi ni Yu Ying, pagdating sa batas, kailangan di ka emotional sa pagpapataw ng parusa. Malawak ang kaalaman ng mga judge or attorney sa ganitong bagay. May mga bagay na di natin nauunawaan bilang pangkaraniwang tao na limitado ang ating kaalaman sa batas. Sabi ni John Matias, can this be blamed on the prosecutor? Is the filing of the charges doomed to fail? Actually, I can't say that. Although the court was saying is that the prosecution failed in putting together certain things, in establishing part of evidence. Pero, can I blame them? No, actually, ang dami nilang nalagap na ebidensya. And this was actually a good case. So, ako, I am torn. I disagree with this decision. But like I said, I cannot say that anyone really is at fault in the sense na may malice. Maybe human failures. Sabi ni Jonathan Manakat, salamat sa pagbigay niya ng time. Well, you're welcome po. Pero I think it is necessary for us to be discussing these things so that, and the information that I give is so that we can discuss this with a higher level, with a greater level of knowledge, para hindi tayo yung kumbaga, tama yung paglalagyan natin ng galit natin. Sabi ni Don Vito, kung ako si Bong, dapat ba akong masaya dahil nakalusot ako sa kaso o magalit dahil sinayang ang 4 na taon ng buhay kung kinulong ako ng walang sala? That is always the perpetual question. And it's a good one. Sabi ni Sign Eccentricium, so right, many people keep saying Filipinos have no discipline, pero pag nag-enforce ang law, ang daming umiiyak na too harsh. Enforcement is key, so is accountability. Tama ng palusot.com. Sabi ni Tony Panilagaw, bakit pag mayaman, ang hirap makonvict? I can't say that either. Mayayaman yung mga drug lords at marami po sa kanilang nakakulong. Tanong nyo kay Laila de Lima. So, alam nyo, itong mga what we call cliches o yung mga tinatawag nating sweeping generalizations hindi nakakatulong sa pag-unawa sa natin nung sistema. Kung iisipin nyo na kagad, bayad yung judge, bayad yung mga justices, then you will not see where we went wrong. Diba? If you automatically attribute to corruption every decision, then you're not going to learn from these cases. Sabi ni Nori, thank you so much at matiyaga kayong magpaliwanag about sa law natin. Kahit dito sa Japan, may mga kaso na nagkakamali ng hatol, oops. Pero nagbabayad ang government nila sa taong nahatulan ng pagkakamali. Sabi ni Genesis, naku, di po kayo nag-iisa against Maria Ressa. I tell you, this woman is far, far more worthy of our anger because nga, she abuses the system. Yung mga tipong, okay, you're an accused, you're entitled to certain things, you're entitled to certain rights, pero naman, yung palalabasin mo, na victim ka, na ino-oppress ang freedom of speech mo because nahuli ka not paying taxes. What? Seriously? Sabi ni Margarita Bueno, I just want to let you know na dito sa Canada, meron din mga heinous crimes na pinakakawalan, but they're wearing a tracking device. Yun ang hindi ko maintindihan. Sobrang lenient din ang batas dito. Oh my gosh. O, diba? Hindi lang tayo. So, alam nyo, the reason why binabasag ko yung arguments na gano'n, bayad yung mga judges, at saka yung mga only in the Philippines, because it's not only in the Philippines. At konting pagmamahal naman sa bayan. Hindi the corruption, human failings, this is not our monopoly. It happens all the time, everywhere. Don't say that it's a Filipino trait because it's not. And ito yung maganda. We have a president who's changing things. And tingnan nyo ha, what the president is doing, hands off. Why is this, for me, it is an honorable thing. Kahit hindi siya agree dun sa decision ng hukuman, hindi siya nakikialam. Bilangin nyo kung ilan ang mga presidente yung nakialam sa mga kaso. Hindi ba yun ang mali? But this president, he lets it. He respects the divisions of government. So, we're improving. Huwag masyadong mainis. You also have to see the silver lining in this. Sabi ni Werner Nick daw, how do you educate the masses on practical law? So much vitriol on social media from both pro and anti. Well, actually, there was a law that mandated the teaching of Constitution in high school and in college. So that's actually where it begins. Sabi ni Shemesh, Shalom, evil manipulations during that time. Hope hindi na mangyari niyan sa bawat isa sa atin. Shalom, good sense and great interpretations. Thank you po. Sabi ni Gilbert Abayan, okay ang mga batas natin. Ang problema, may magaling lang talagang lumusot sa batas at depende sa humahatol kung ano yung kanyang requirements para makonvict ang isang akusado. Agree. Not all circumstances are always going to be the same. Sabi ni Jade, totoo bang si Senator Rvilla is running for senator? Yes, I think so. Sabi ni Barry Lemon, siguro kaya nasipa sa CNN yan si Maria kasama. Alam mo, I don't think it's bobo. It's very bad to underestimate our enemies. Ang problema is kitang-kita lang talaga yung strategiya niya. Sabi ni Rodel, off topic, but how was your visit to Basilan? It went very well, thank you very much. Ang ganda ng Basilan. Ganda ng beach. Ah, sabi ni Michael, maraming DDS na basta nagmumura na lang at galit na walang kaalaman at hindi sa lugar. Salamat. Actually, we can't blame them also kasi we are also products of the educational system at sa kakulangan. At sino ba ang may failing sa educational system natin? Hindi ba yung mga past administrations? Sabi ni Peter Flores Serrano, would you rather have a jury system? No, I don't. It's expensive and it might actually take longer. I think the system that we have now needs to be improved, but introducing a jury system. Sabi ni Greggy Taperla, any thoughts dun sa dissenting opinion ng dalawang justices po, Pagsandigan Bayan? I agree with the dissenting opinion of Justice Esto Esta, but I respect the main opinion. Yan lang po. Okay, let's go to Balangiga bells na. Ang daming nagsasabi na itong mga Balangiga bells na isusoli sa atin ay malamang forgeries na. Bakit hindi ako naniniwala na that is possible? Well, number one is that it's very difficult to forge a bell, particularly a bell coming from that period. Most of our bells came from either the Sunico foundry here or a particular foundry that can still be traced to Spain. Now, each foundry has a signature and a specific metallurgical combination. So, hindi po lahat ng foundries ay pare-pareho ng formula sa paggawa ng bell. In addition to which, meron silang mga markers na nilalagay doon. Pero, key talaga yung combination ng metals na ginagawa doon sa particular bells at bells coming from a particular period and a particular area. So it's not going to be that easy to forge a bell. Now, assuming that the US has the resources to forge one, the authenticity, the bell itself isn't what makes it important. Halimbawa, there's some things that are important intrinsically, like yung Golden Tara. In addition to its archaeological value, dahil ito ay isa dun sa mga parang Diyos, representasyon ng mga Diyos noong kapanahunan ng either the Majapahit or Srivijayan empires natin, ito ay ginto. So, valuable yung ginto, di ba? So, sometimes magka-create ng forgeries to pass off as gold or to pass off as the original. And in this case, the Balangiga bells, ang significance niya is on their symbolism. Dahil ito ang ginamit ng mga Pilipino to signify the start of the ambush on the American forces. So nagkaroon ng halaga ang bells na to dahil ito ang naging simbolo ng struggle between the US at Pilipinas. One that we call a war and one that they still don't recognize as one, but call as the Philippine Insurgency. So, why would it be necessary to forge these bells? There is nothing that the US can gain by keeping the original bells. There's nothing. Diba? In fact, during the time that the negotiations were ongoing, one of the compromises that were proposed was for duplicates to be made of the bells and 2 originals sent to the Philippines, 2 duplicates to the US, tapos they keep 1 original. So, again, the symbolism is what makes these bells important, and forgery isn't going to help any cause, not even the US side. Alam niyo kung bakit? Ang pagbibigay halaga din ng US ay dun sa kanilang military, representing nga na natalo nila yung mga taong umambush sa kanila. Ngayon, kung finorge nila yung bells natin, tapos binigay sa atin, mapipilitan silang itago yung originals nila dahil yun nga, the forgeries pala yung sa atin. And part of the value nga is yung pagdi-display, yung public acknowledgement na nagantihan nila yung mga umambush sa kanila. Sabi ni Alfred, dapat makaklaim din ng Pilipinas ng war damages sa US. May war reparations tayo after World War II, don't you remember? Meron yan. Meron. In fact, some of the properties, like the property in Roppongi in Japan, is part of our war reparations. And the US facilitated that. Sabi ni Barry Lemon, yay, nakabox na yung mga bells. Excited daw. Okay, let's look at the meron pa bang meron pa bang ibang mga tanong? Teka. Sabi ni Ireneo Ortiz, kung mahirap, diretso sa city or municipal jail, pero kung politiko at kilalang tao, kung hindi sa krame, ay sa NBI detention cell na walang ibang nakakasamang detainee. Ay, dyan tayo nag-agree, Mr. Ortiz. Hindi ako naniniwala that our politicians should be separated from the main prison population unless it has been proven na posibleng mapatay sila doon. Or that there's already an attempt. Agree naman ako dyan. Super duper duper agree ako dyan. That our politicians should be in the same conditions as regular detainees. They might end up making better laws. Sabi ni Nald, team replay, pero tama po ba yung rinig ko? Sa case ni Bong, nagurungan po ang mga witnesses against him. Hindi po totoo. Hindi pa. Naka-document yung mga witnesses. Sabi ni Roel, I dig you. More pa, that's entertainment. I'm always entertained by common sense. So, sabi ni Wooly Shan, will the bells daw be returned to the church or will it be under government jurisdiction? Even our most stringent conservation laws will not take property away from a person, or in this case, the church is considered a juridical person without just compensation. Now, the bells belong to the Diocese of Samar, and so it will be returned to them. But the government represents the public interest in the bells. So, the government can regulate the use and disposition of the bells in accordance with the Constitution and Republic Act 10066. Sabi ni Juan Aquino about yung bell mula sa Korea, isusoli din po. Sabi ni Nori, mga kababayan, mahalin natin ang bansa. Please lang, every time na naririnig ko ang speech ng Pangulo, feel ko talaga ang pagmamahal niya sa taong bayan at sa bansa natin. Sana magkaisa tayo na si Duterte pa rin ang presidente natin sa eleksyon. Ang susunod na eleksyon, wag naman po. Kasi kawawa naman siya, pagod na din siya. Sabi ni James, gusto kong matawa. Please, pag-usapan natin si Trillanes. Anong pag-uusapan natin kay Trillanes? Hindi pa rin naman siya nakikipag, sabi ni John Ed Rosolo, duplicating the Balangiga bell is not possible, but I strongly believe the US will not do such a thing. We have very good ties and good history with the US. We have, how do you call this? Both good and bad ties. Ganun na lang. So, dun sa mga nagsa-speculate na pakakasuhan si Drew, until that actually happens, it's all speculation. Sabi ni Peralta Ferdi, only in the time of Duterte, the bells will be returned finally with all the past presidents. Duterte said it should be returned. Very seriously said, and so the US is returning it now. Yes, but let's also give credit to the diocese, to the citizens of Samar, in particular those from Balangiga, from on the US side, those who also helped in negotiating for the return of these bells. Huwag po nating kakalimutan that the effort to return the bells has been years. Even kahit kinalaban pa siya, si President Gloria Arroyo almost succeeded. Kaklase niya si Bill Clinton, nakiusap nga lang siya. It was the US Senate who disagreed. So, let us recognize everybody who attempted also. Sabi ni J.R. Moreno, sabi nila hindi daw si Duterte ang dahilan ng pagbalik ng bells. It is because daw sa mga nagpetition nito before it pa. No, the US was very clear about that. Sabi ni Alfred Enahe, kasama ba sa condition sa approval ng EDCA ang pagbalik ng bells? There is nothing being said about that. There's no evidence to indicate that or its opposite. Sabi ni Juan Aquino, may effect ba yung Revilla decision sa magiging decision ni Jinggoy at Enrile? Only when the Supreme Court makes a decision. That's when it can be considered a precedent that will be followed. Sabi ni Batang Lansangan, sana si Inday Sara maging susunod na presidente. Trixie, salamat po ng marami sa pagpapaliwanag ninyo tungkol sa batas. Ingatan nawa kayo palagi ng Panginoon. Salamat po. Sabi ni Tony Galgana, magkaiba daw. Napansin ko lang po, magkaibang batas sa mayaman at sa mahirap. Hindi po totoo yan. That would be unconstitutional. Minsan, nakikita natin na may advantage ang mga, not necessarily mayaman may advantage ang mga politicians. Bakit hiniwalay si Laila de Lima? Bakit siya nandun sa kame? Well, in her case, co-conspirators niya in the drug trade yung mga nasa Bilibid. So definitely, hindi siya pwede sa Bilibid. Bakit our politicians, nahihiwalay sila sa main person population. Yun talaga tama yun. And I disagree with that policy. But to say na mali na iba yung sa mayaman at sa mahirap, hindi naman po totoo. Sabi ni Baves Garcia, pero kung di sa laging pagmumura ng Pangulo, matagal na pa yan mababalik. O wala po. I know, I like your theory. Seryoso, I like your theory. Ano sabi ni Obama tungkol sa Pangulo natin? He's a colorful guy. Sabi ni Alan Atienza, no more appeal for acquittal or it will tantamount to double jeopardy. No more appeal or acquittal, no more appeal dun sa kay Bong Rvilla. Pero pwedeng mag-motion for clarification with the Sandigan Bayan, or pwede rin yung appeal will pertain solely to the return of the money as to Bong Rvilla. But an appeal can be made on the part of Janet Napoles and on the Richard Campbell. Sabi ni Suzanne Villafuerte, ang Aus Duterte, totoo ba? Meeting kasama mga bishops, Jollibee, Sumitomo. Well, yeah, they've been plotting that since 2016. So, sabi ni Ryan, I wish maging Solgen ka or maging ombudsman ka. Oh, please, wala tayong reklamo dun sa current ombudsman natin. He's excellent, and lalo pa sa and as much also sa ating Solgen. Wag! Ang gagaling ng mga nakaupo, sobra naman kayo. Besides, mas maganda yung sa Facebook lang. Sabi ni Peralta, there's a clearer explanation of a law and decision of the courts when a free thinker, lawyer, objective, and principled. Lawyers cannot explain well when they are partisan. Sabi ni Virginia Crisologo, si Tatay Digong para lang din diyang isang tatay ng tahanan, mapagmura pero ramdam ng pamilya ang pagmamahal niya sa kanyang mga anak o pamilya, madisiplina na nasa lugar naman. Nice. Sabi ni Unique, hindi po ba pati rin kayo ay kasama sa mga petition? Apa, I actually talked with one of the NGOs on the Heritage Trust in the US to help us out. So, sabi ni Michael Santiago, nako, kung sa Muntinlupa makulong si Bidrima, finish, baka gumagawa na ng concert. Sabi ni John, my Pearl of the Orient, thank you very much for your dedication to, ako pala yan, to enlighten, educate us on things that are cloudy in our minds. More power to you. Happy holidays. Thank you po. Sabado, Terry says, opo, yung plot na booking lang ni Sas at TP yung Lenny Leaks. Oy, kasama ako dun. Sobra, no? Papansin. Sabi ni Manny Wright, will you defend Trillanes if he asks for your services? No po, because I would be in conflict of interest. I prefer him in jail. Hindi po, I would not, because nga that might be a conflict, because I represented before Captain Nicanor Faeldon, and his interests and Senator Trillanes' interests were not the same. So, hindi talaga pwede. Furthermore, no. Okay, wala na pong ibang mga tanong dun sa hindi pa po nag-share at saka nagla-like dito. Don't forget to share and like para hindi tayo pa ulit-ulit dun sa pag-explain sa ating wall. And please don't forget to subscribe to Luminous, to follow and like on the Luminous page because this live was brought to you courtesy of that page. Maraming salamat po. This will also be uploaded on YouTube under Trixie Cruz-Angeles. Last question. Sabi ni Alfred Enahe, kasama ka ba sa mga nominees ng kasosyo sa party list ni Mocha? Hindi po, I am not running for any position whatsoever except to be here. Not running for any position and not interested po. Sabi ni Neda, logically, ang baths ay pareho sa mamamayan at mahihirap giving justice. Ang laws, giving the justice, ang hindi pareho ang implementasyon. Tama po. Nasaan yung nagtatanong? Salamat sa live, sabi ni Maylina Puda. Can you help Drew against Mystica in the case against him? Attorney Ahmed Paglinawan is representing Drew. Kasi feeling ko nadamay din ako ni Mystica doon eh. So, we will see. We will see if Mystica will actually file a case. Diba? But ako, I wouldn't worry about Drew. He's okay. Sabi ni Aisir Eduardo, a bit late but I shared. Nice listening to you after for a while. Sabi ni Babes, madaming natututunan sa iyo kay Sas. Ang galing yung mag-explain. Uy, maraming salamat po. Nahihiya actually ako magbasa pagka kasi I don't read it right away. I automatically read out loud. So nahihiya talaga ako magbasa ng mga papuri ninyo. But trust me when I say that I do read everything. Nahihiya lang po ako kasi to read out loud kasi parang self-serving masyado. Sabi ni Joy, miss na namin si Attorney Awesome at si Sir Jojo. Miss ko din si Sir Jojo, but he will be back, I assure you. He's just busy. Si Ahmed is still on his wall and also posts on Luminous. So, hindi naman po siya nawawala. He just doesn't do live. But I assure you that when the campaign is in full swing, he will probably be spending more time on radio also. So, don't forget to like and to share on this Facebook Live, and I hope na na-clarify po yung ibang mga tanong ninyo. You can ask further on related topics on the wall dito sa Luminous. Please don't forget to like and share. Maraming salamat. Have a good Sunday, everybody.